bring on any politicians on the show or anything like that. Because we didn't want to get political. We was trying to stay out the fray, and we was trying to bring it. But you know what? God said something else. He said, no, you're going to bring your homeboy on. You're going to bring your man on. You're going to bring your guy onto the show. My man Vince Martinez, mayor of Pennsauken, is here. And we're not just talking politics and everything like that. We're going to talk about his life. We're going to talk about who he is, what he wants to bring to the community, the change that he wants to bring, the things that God is doing in his life. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have my man Vince Martinez. We got Matt in the back. We also got my man Guy still in the building and everything today. So, welcome to the show, Mr. Vince Martinez. Give it up, give it up, give it up. What up, my boy? What's happening, man?
Thank you.
Yo, man, welcome to Unshakeable Conversations.
Yes.
You know?
Love the energy.
hey man, this is how we do it. This is how we bring it. I know, like, you know, just 1 minute ago I was very mellow and calm and cool, collected. But as soon as the lights turn on, we ready to go. But Showtime. We athletes, we players, this is what we do, you know. So
lights turn on.
Welcome to the show, father.
Yes.
Husband, man of God, all of that good stuff. You know, and you're providing a service to your community by being the mayor of Pennsauken, New Jersey. So how has the experience, you know, and that been the first, you know, year that you've been the man in charge?
To be honest, it's been a learning curve.
Yeah?
Yeah. I come from, you know, boots, hard hat, construction, union worker.
Yep.
So to get into politics, it's a learning curve, but I learned quick.
There we go. There we go. Let's jump back before we get into the politics and all of that. Let's jump back. Let's talk about you, man. Let's talk about, you know, your upbringing. So did you grow up in Pennsauken or the?
Yes. So, I grew up in Camden.
Okay.
33rd Street. I went to Sharp School.
Okay.
For a little bit there, and then my parents purchased a home in Pennsauken, and from there it was about second grade. I transitioned to Pennsauken and Pennsauken district schools.
Okay.
And then from there on, you know, Pennsauken Middle, Pennsauken High.
Yep.
Did the whole Pennsauken thing.
Yeah.
You know, even in town sports, your PYAA.
Yeah.
Your from baseball now, which is Pennsauken Youth Soccer Club, PYA football, and now we introduce Mercherville Pennsauken Little League.
Nice.
So we have 3 different leagues in our town.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So growing up, how was like Pennsauken when you were growing? It's vastly different now, but when you were growing up, what was the times like? What were the people like? You know, what were some of the things that maybe some of those stories and everything from back in the day?
Yeah, so Pennsauken was a little different than what it is now. It's a lot more diverse right now. I will say that. When I was playing sports, volunteers were everywhere. There was a lot of volunteers, a lot of coaches, a lot of mentors, a lot of people being leaders. A lot of parents had some time. You know, and that was big for me growing up.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in sports. It's where all the kids were. It's where all the friends were. And that's how I got my love for the game. You know, and I carried that out throughout my career, from middle school, high school, even in college. I played sports. Right. So that
you play football and baseball, or?
So I played. So PYA was a big football in Pennsauken.
Yep.
But I played. I don't know if you catch.
I'm a coach, by the way. I'm a coach for PYA.
There you go.
You know, yeah.
So I'm gonna catch some heat for this. I played for St. Pete's Saints.
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay.
So I played for the yellow and green St. Pete's.
Yeah.
So I know I'm gonna catch some heat for that.
Yeah. Yo, don't scold him for that. I Pennsauken. Don't scold him for that. Okay. That was you know, put on his parents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Well, I guess with the location I was at,
right.
Living on that side, it was just easier to go up the street and play.
Yeah.
Where Mercherville Little League baseball was played on Somerset Avenue, that was the football field for St. Pete's. And at that time, my group of friends who played baseball just transitioned to St. Pete's. So back then, a group of friends, a group of families, parents, they just stuck together. You know, they made friends. Absolutely. And they just said, hey, we're going to take all these kids and we're just going to go here. And the families, they worked together, they fundraised, they volunteered, and it was just easier for them. So kids just followed. You know?
What are some of the challenges that you feel that we're having with that now? Like, as far as the volunteers or fundraising and, you know, just continuously creating that positive environment for the youth?
I think there's a lot of hurdles. I think parents are working more.
Yeah.
I think we lost somewhere down the line. We lost something about the feeling of volunteering or service to the community. Because I grew up with so many mentors and leaderships, I feel like that is necessary. It's an investment to these kids.
Yeah.
Most of these kids now, I mean, I don't want to say all, but maybe just the mom is bringing them.
Yeah.
The father's not there. Maybe the father's bringing them, the mom's not there. So coaches are their secondary father figure. If that's easy to say. So we can be that, and you can guide a young individual in the right direction just by being a coach.
Yeah.
Just by being there. Just by, being in the snack stand, making sure you're doing right.
Right.
Definitely takes a village. Definitely takes a village.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Go ahead,
perfect.
guy. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that, like you said, being a coach, you're not only a coach but father figure, your mentor, your role model, and then us as men, right? So not only servant leaders, right, but just more men in those roles to, be that overseer over these young men that need that, right? Maybe father is at home and works a lot, or father's busy. But I think that us as men just play those powerful roles in those children's lives to not just be, coach, but just one that helps them learn about life.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Let me jump in though. Like, you said parents work a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously, yeah, we got to be in the snack stands, or mom is just bringing them, or dad is just bringing them, or maybe it's grandma, maybe it's auntie, maybe it's a neighbor, right? And overall, and me actually being a coach this year, I've seen a lot of what these kids really need, right? And what they're actually around, and the environment that they grow up in. It's like, man, it's like I always say, right? I quote Michael Pitts all the time. He says, lyrics affect the mind, rhythm affects the will, and the melody affects the emotions. Show me what a person is listening to, and I'll show you their lifestyle. And you can see a lot of these children and what they're listening to on a daily basis, right? Where somewhere along the line there's a gap between child and parent, and they're acting like adults in a child body, in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And they're moving super quick, even from a language standpoint. Like the language that they use is just like it's crazy, right? And I'm not no saint or nothing like that. From when I was a young guy or whatever, like I found the Lord, but but what I'm saying is that, man, what we have to get a hold on us as adults, because I think that there's a pressure that we face, right? There's an overwhelmingness of pressure for people to, like you said earlier, they're working more, but are we making more, right? And does that pressure amount into the life inside the home, as well too? So from a mental and I work with various companies and everything from a coaching standpoint, professional development all the time. The one thing that I find is that it ain't even it's not the person that's the reason why they're not being effective at work is because something's not being executed at home, and that translates all the way down, because we talk about leadership, it starts from the top down. So if that's the case, then not only do we need programs for the youth, but I also think that, hey, maybe we need some programs for these adults and everything, some outlets, some positive outlets and everything for them, well, as well too. I don't know if you want to touch on that, but.
Well, I mean, if I know in our Little League, we do have, so I've implemented some things where it was like coaching clinics. Yeah. I believe you probably went to one.
Great.
So I implemented coaching clinics.
Yep.
Not everybody knows how to be a coach, right?
Right. Yeah.
But it's not hard. You don't need to know everything about the game. We're just not talking about baseball, soccer, football.
Right.
But you can be a coach just by your experience and what you want to give back to the kids. You could be on the sidelines. You could be just there, cheering them on.
Yeah.
And those things start to count. They start to add up.
Yeah.
They start to add up. And just being there. So during the coaches clinics, I let them know, attitude.
Yep.
Body language,
Oof.
Also how to prep the fields and things like that. But get there early.
Yep.
As adults, we got to do certain things. We got to get there early. We got to get dressed. How to get your kid ready for the game.
Yeah.
Sometimes kids will just come home with their gear, they'll throw it in the closet, and that's the last time you see it.
Yep.
How many of us are like, get your stuff together?
Yeah.
Yep.
But all that. You just let people know, hey, this is how it starts. This is where it goes. Because these are new parents to the new sports. They want their kids to play, but they might not come from any type of sports background.
Right.
You gotta remember that, because you have to teach them a little bit, and then they can take their own path.
Yeah.
So.
I'll add a little bit to that, fellas. What you're saying is the example we set is something they learn from. I would beg to say that it might be what they learn from a little more than anything else. And I'm going to tell you why, because I'm an X and O guy. Yeah, you need those X's and O's. And this is faith, family, and leadership. Yeah, X's and O's are important, but relationship is what supersedes all of that, right? And so as we build those relationships with them and set those examples for them, we don't have to be mother, father. We can be a person that's just moving the chains. But if we speak with respect and we move with respect, then they learn from that and they take that with them. Listen, you said cheering them on. I mean, when you cheer a kid on, it means so much, because they may not receive that anywhere else. You understand what I'm saying? So,
and what's wild is I started. Now look, I played high school football, right? And I'm coaching, the POIA 110s. So I'm coaching the JV team, and my son Javion's on the team. But I'm also a coach for the varsity and everything as well, too, helping out Coach Will, right, who's the head coach. And he brings me over to take the D-line over and do some drills and everything with them. Now, I'm a pretty athletic guy. You teach me something, I'm going to go ahead and do it, right? I never played D-line before, but I've watched enough football to know the technique a little bit or whatever, what I'm talking about, that I could teach some kids and everything how to do it correctly. And as I'm, helping them out with the drill, I see them, they're just kind of going through the motions, right? But it was this one time where I started to say, you know what, Kenny, use your gift to make the shift, right? Because instead of getting them to just do it and go through the motion, give a seed of motivation inside them. And sometimes it's all the kids really need, right? It's a seed of motivation. So I said, listen, when you get up here, and before you do your drill, when I say who the best, I want you to say I'm the best. Who the best? I'm the best. Who the best? I'm the best. Who the best? I'm the best. And it's sparking the confidence that they need every single time that they do a drill, because they're saying, yo, I am the best at this, at what I do right now. I'm the best. And they're only 9, right? So think about it. If they're only 9 and they're getting this type of leadership and motivation, right? Think about what's going to happen when they're 19,
right?
When they're 29, when they're 39. And I think that if we can, as parents, as leaders, as individuals, right? And I'll toss it back to you here. Like, if we can give those small seeds of confidence and motivation in our children inside the home, it will translate outside the home as well,
Definitely will. And another thing to go back. So I've coached with Kenny. I've brought Kenny onto the field. I've coached his kids. And I know my place, right? I know the game. I motivate the kids. But there's certain times where even I can't reach them, right? So I will say, hey, Kenny, next inning, can I get you to just come out here and get these guys fired up? And he will do that. He'll come out there, get them fired up. And that's also me recognizing through my experience that I don't have that reach. I don't have that reach. So learning too to be like, all right, I can't get here, so let me get somebody else. Let me pull somebody else in who can get to these kids differently. And that was big, man. That was big. There was that one team with the districts.
Yep.
That I kept bringing them on, and the kids ended up being district champions.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost a decade since Merchantville Pennsauken has won any type of districts. And you know, I want to thank you for utilizing your tools.
Absolutely.
To get those kids through that. That was awesome.
Yeah. So any coaches out there, you need your boy, to come out here and give a little motivation, inspiration. I got the juice to get it while it's hot, because I don't know how long it's gonna be hot. But no, man, like, and I think that's important. Who were some of your mentors and people that you had growing up? What was one of the things that kept you motivated inside sports? Because sports, like, you could love it, but you got to really have a passion for it as well too, to kind of keep pressing on. Like, who was it that really kept you going? Was your dad or any other coaches? Anybody what was one of the things that you heard, or somebody said something to you that got you going?
That's going to be like a loaded question. Yeah. So I think it was a combination of just every year somebody having my ear. And like you said, it was a village. Yep. So I was lucky to have a community that would every year, every age group, be somebody. Or maybe it was a little bit of me just allowing to be coachable.
That's good.
And I don't know where that came from. I can't tell anybody, but if you're a student, if you're an athlete, you need to be coachable. Yep. Just be coachable. You don't know everything, but as growing up, it was just dads. It was just working dads, knowing that they came to the games in their mechanic clothes, maybe painter clothes, maybe boots, and just lining the field up and just recognizing how much hard work that they're putting in. I had a best friend that was, when I grew up, one of my best friends, his dad was like my second dad. My parents were always there. They took me to every game. I played so much sports, they took me everywhere. And for some, the crazy thing is, my mom used to have a catch with me. Back in the alleyway, my mom used to have a catch with me. I didn't even know my mom could even play. Wow. She was like, give me the glove. Grabs the glove, and I start throwing the ball with my mom. And I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
I'm having a catch with my mom?
Right.
So these are just a lot of things where just like inspired me to, wow, your parents want this to happen. So I don't know if it was just one true person. I think it was the community. Yeah. And that's why, I am where I'm at. I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe a community can raise our youth to be individuals that then can become leaders. Man,
in other words, we need each other.
Yeah.
Right? Go. We need each other. Like, I grew up in a town. I grew up in Willingboro, and I remember that, behind me was Miss Trudy. Okay? Next door was Morgan's parents, right? Down the street was my man Brian and his family, right? We kind of all knew each other.
Yeah.
And down the street was Zach. My mom didn't really like Zach like that, but it was all good. but it was the fact that every time I went out, my mom knew where I was at.
Yeah.
My mom knew that if she yells for me and I don't hear her, then I must be in Charles's house, right? Or she'll pick up the phone and call, is Kenny over there? Yeah, he's good here, right? There was that line of communication.
Yeah.
And I would dare say, I feel like I have that now where I live, like on my street, but I'm not sure about everywhere else.
Yeah, no, my oldest doesn't have that. He didn't grow up. He's not growing up like that. So Willingboro, Pennsauken, Camden, like you said, I knew Bert lived in the back on Sherwood. I knew Ferdy lived on Baker. I knew Paulie lived up the street. My parents knew where I was at. And then I don't know if it's a Puerto Rican thing, but when my dad came out, he whistled. It was this loud whistle. And if I didn't hear it, I would be walking back home, and neighbors will come out and go, "Your dad whistled." Yeah. Oh man, how long ago?
Yeah.
Just about 5 minutes ago. Start running home. But it was just neighbors.
Yeah.
hey Vinny, your dad's whistling.
Yeah.
And, and just neighbors come out and they were just all together. And my oldest, I could ask him which friends are around the block. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He contact them through a phone or any other way. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Like how he would unless we're on the field. Unless we're on the field, that's where his friends, coaches are. And then if he wanted to contact anybody from school, it would have to be over the phone.
Right.
Where before, just go outside.
Yeah.
There's that meme where all the bikes are pulled up on the front lawn.
Yep.
And then you know where all your friends are at.
Yep.
So you're like, all the bikes on that lawn, I'm going there.
Right. We don't have that.
You got to be there.
Right.
No, you don't have that.
Nah, but you know why? One of the reasons, this is my personal opinion, I think we live in a different era of parenting. We live in a different era, a complete different era, period, overall. With the internet that's out there, with a lot of the things that are just being, children being overly exposed in a lot of ways in certain situations, things that are a little inappropriate and everything for them to be seeing. You don't know what other parents are doing inside their home. So I think that takes, that pulls some parents back from letting their children just go with other neighbors, because you don't know, based off of either a personal experience or the exposure of what's being put out there today, that some parents may not even know what other parents may be allowing inside the home, right? But this raises it up. And I'm only saying this because I've seen it done, right? I've seen it done to where, we homeschooled Caleb and Javion the last 3 years. Caleb's now in high school or whatever now, like he's going to Holy Cross. But it's like a protection thing in a sense now. Yeah. So it's either, it's sad that we don't have that camaraderie as a community, but at the same time, it's like, dang, I still got to protect my child.
Yeah.
So where do we draw the line, or where do we meet in the middle of some sort to where we can still have that type of growth in the environment that protects our children, our parents, that we can work cohesively together and not really necessarily worry about this person or that person possibly doing something to my son or daughter or something like that, and them being in danger or whatever, right? So it's like, how do we fix that?
So let's say you introduce your kid to sports.
Yep.
So you would feel comfortable, hey, can Caleb ride with you?
Right.
Where did all that come from? Where did all that stem from?
Right.
It stemmed from in-town programs.
In-town programs.
Community.
Boom.
You know who the coaches are.
Yep.
You know he was, if the end of the game it was there and you couldn't get there, you knew there was Coach Mike, myself, he was getting home.
Yep.
Yep. So that was an investment through the entire program in the community.
Yeah.
Right. And if we get away from in-town programs and any other, and not just in-town programs, regular programs that somebody might have from Cub Scouts to anything else. Yep. You start to build a relationship. So most of these parents that I know, they just play ball or they play some type of sports.
Right.
I can go to soccer, and I know that the baseball parents, they went to soccer. Yep. I could walk through the soccer field and still get, hey, how you doing? This and that. And if their kid, they couldn't get to the field in time, Martinez would take them home. Yep. Or Martinez would sit there for 5 minutes and wait for a ride. Yep. Right. Right. But you start to build a family, a village, like you said. Yeah. And that comes from programs and community.
So now what we're saying is that there is a solution, and the solution is the programs that are set in place versus, what I alluded to earlier, right? Where you may not be able to trust the person behind you because you don't know them like that, right? But if you put them in a program that's have a proven track record of, an upbringing of kids, and you want to get your kid involved, and then I guess as parents, we get involved as well too, right? Because we get involved by volunteering, snack stand. Yeah. It'll probably be you and another parent or something like that, or
you communicate.
You guys communicate, and then you start to kind of build that bond with one another that you didn't have that. Go ahead, Guy.
Right. I love what you got, the direction you guys are going, right? Because I don't think it's a versus thing like community program versus this, right? I think it's in addition to. So community programs, great, fantastic. But I will tell you one thing, right? Parents have to be willing to develop relationships with other parents, right? This day and age, they'll come to games, they come and they've locked in and focused on their child, what their child is doing, how their child is doing, right? But to have that camaraderie with Snack Stand and have that camaraderie and that willingness to, hey, I'll take your child, or hey, will you take my child? Relationship needs to be built with adult to adult, right? We talk about disconnect between child and community, and we don't speak enough about grown adults who know better building relationships with each other.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where community comes from. We talk about community. It has to be loose until it has to be used loosely until you develop that community, and you develop that community through building relationships with each other, adult to adult, so we can build that trust. So in addition to community programs and working the Snack Stand, I think that us as parents and as adults have to take that responsibility on to be willing to trust and build that relationship with the person sitting behind me or the person sitting next to me that I really don't know just yet. You know what I mean? Our kids are playing together. You know, we all a family. I preach family, and I'm a coach as well. I preach family from the start to the finish. And so we are inside of, like, in between the lines and outside of the lines, we go eat together, and we build family, and we build, you know, friendship in that village that we talk so fondly about.
Facts.
That word family works. It's a strong word. It doesn't mean if you're related to the person. I know that the tribal program that both our children are in. I guess I'll just drop it. Combat. Hashtag family. Right.
That's it.
That's family. It's not of a slogan or anything like that. It works. If you want people to be together and have a relationship, you have to bring family. That word is so strong. It's just a strong word. It's just is. Everybody knows it, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? I feel? It's the fact that some people don't have a family,
right?
And they're looking for that family.
There you go.
Right. So when you get into certain programs, it's like, man, you guys are my family, right? And I'll put it to you like this, right, from a biblical perspective, right? I remember one time they in the Bible where the disciples had came up to Jesus and said, hey, your mother is here and your brothers are looking for you. And he said, who is my mother? Who are my brothers? Right? And he turns to the disciples and he says, these are my brothers, right? This is my family right here, right? So what is he essentially saying? It's no shade and everything to his mother, Mary, or his brothers at all. But the fact is that those who follow me and follow my ways, they, you know, we build this thing together. We going through the trenches collectively together because we are, you know, that's family. Sometimes family is not even really blood, right? Sometimes people will, you know, just because you don't get it, you don't get the opportunity to choose who you're birthed by. You don't get the opportunity to choose your family, right? But you do, or the family that you're born into, rather, right? But you do have the opportunity to, as you grow through life, you have the opportunity to choose the people that you bring into your life and hold on to and look at them as family. I could sit there and say, you know, we're family. Like, you know, Guy is family. Matt is family. Why? Because we've all had, you know, done things personally with one another, whether it's playing baseball, whether it's church or, you know, Guy 2 weeks ago went ahead like, yo, Guy, can you grab Caleb and everything from practice and take him to the barbershop for me? Because we running thin here. You know what I'm saying? And then Guy was like, boom, all right, cool, I got you. Like, let me go ahead and finish up where practice. I'll go take him, drop him off. Then the barber, yo, Wendell, can you take Caleb to the field for me and I'll meet y'all there? Because I was getting off of work at 7:15 and I just couldn't get to grab Caleb and Javion had practice and we got a lot of things going on. We got 5 children, so we needed our village, like you were saying, to help us out. So my barber cuts Caleb, shuts down the shop, then takes him to the field, and then I meet my family there, then take them home. That's the village that we're talking about. Right? So I want to shift gears and everything here, you know, and I want to jump into, you know, your give you an opportunity to talk about your campaign and some of the other things that you want to be, bringing to the forefront, the policies and the things that you plan to change going into this campaign season.
Okay. So November 7th.
Yes.
Which is always a Tuesday.
Yes. Ain't that ironic?
Yeah. That's how he set it up.
Right.
That's election day.
Yeah.
And I'm running again for to be on committee.
Yeah.
I'm the mayor now, but the way Pennsauken runs, every town, borough, city has a different type of government.
Okay.
The way we run in Pennsauken is a committee, and that committee then nominates a mayor. So every year we get together and we nominate a mayor. It could be the same mayor, or it could be a new mayor. This team that we have together right now is a strong team. This team has the mindset that over the course of the years, it's been a different mayor every time. Why?
Yeah.
Because now that mayor has the experience that the previous mayor knows. Right? You can't just keep going, have a committeeman or a teammate or something like that, not experience what it is to be mayor. So that's a great thing, and to have a collective group of people who understand that mindset, have that team mindset is awesome. So as far as what we've done, track record's there. You know, over 3 years, we've hired over 40 police officers.
Wow.
That's safety for our township. That's big, right?
Yeah.
Because that changes the quality of life. More officers, their presence, implementing.
Especially when there was like a short on them.
Yeah,
right?
so a lot of officers were retiring. Yeah, you know, that was the question.
Right.
Well, how come we had this many officers and how come we have this many officers? And it's officers get old just like regular people.
Absolutely.
So that transition happens, and we have to be prepared and see that for the future and change the momentum. And that's what we've done in the last 3 years. Over 40 officers. We continue to do that because that public safety is a priority, major priority. Also, to piggyback off of that, our officers are doing a lot of community things, tons of community things. We have the Junior Academy. I'm pretty sure you've seen that.
Yep.
Where we take the kids and the officers take them for about a week, and they run them through different courses.
Nice.
Kids love it.
Yeah.
The kids love it. We also have that for the fire department too.
Right.
So, wow, we just keep coming right back to community things that just, if you just implement it, they're investments, and they're just foundations, and to keep going.
Yeah.
I can run down the gauntlet here.
Yeah.
So since I've been going on 3 years. I've connected with a lot of upper leadership, higher government, and they've been very, very nice. A new municipal building, library, community center.
Yep. Yeah.
This has happened for Pennsauken.
Right.
All grant money. All grant money
coming through.
Yeah. So that's taxpayers ain't gotta worry about that.
Right.
So the leadership that's in place right now has built a relationship with the upper government, and we've been able to put together community center, library, and other things to keep going on that, correct? Because I don't want to keep. But I will.
For sure.
The pool.
Yep.
More stuff for the pool.
More stuff. Yeah.
Grant money. Tippins Pond.
Yeah.
A trail going around Tippins Pond. New aeration system for Tippins Pond. Grant money.
Right.
This is all grant money, keeping our taxes down. I know a lot of things are happening now where taxes are going up slightly. For some places, prices are going up too.
Absolutely.
But this team that's here has continually went out and got grant money.
Right.
It's over. I'm just not going to solid number, but it's over $20 million in grant money.
Amazing.
It's a lot of money.
Amazing.
Right. You know, for a town that your committee man, your mayor is going out there and talking to the people that need to talk to get funds for residents.
Right.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
You know, I never really understood, the political game and the things that you alluded to. I know that for a fact that, obviously the tax-paying dollars and everything go towards a lot of things, but the grant money and what you're using it for I think that these are major upgrades to upgrade the town. It's kind of like almost like you have a home.
Yeah.
Right? And inside that home, there always going to have to be some form of an upgrade every single year, every couple of months. Things are going to have to be upgraded. But how do they get upgraded? They get upgraded because of the funding.
Yeah.
There has to be poured into for the upkeep of the actual town itself, right? And there are certain things that help the community that we may overlook or that we don't necessarily see. Sometimes people just see like, oh yeah, we got a pool there. Well, how to get there?
Yeah.
You know, oh, we got a community center there. Well, who's paying for that? Yeah. Right? Or how did that get there? Oh, I get to use the community center or I get a discount if I want to hold an event there because I'm a resident here. Yeah. But you only get that discount because of, you know, people like yourself that are in the forefront, go ahead and fighting for these certain things to happen and make them happen. So I think that that's important to say, because I think that we, as outside looking in, for someone that doesn't know anything about, you know, politics, like, hey, I'm just, you know, I just see a Republican, Democrat, and I don't know, I'm going to vote this or I'm going to vote that or whatever. And they don't necessarily really dive into those particular policies as to why, right? So I think that that's great that you ran down the gauntlet of some things, because I think people need to hear that.
Yeah. And like I said in the beginning, it was a learning curve.
Yeah.
I'm boots hard hat.
Facts.
You know, I don't come from a political background.
Right.
I was a guy, somebody blessed me and said, hey, you should probably go for this. And I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Right.
So I just knew I was the guy who made things happen in town.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it was Merchantville Little League and it was PYAA.
Right.
2 separate leagues. For what?
Yeah.
As a resident, I was like, for what? All of us we play the same sport. We're pretty much neighbors. So me and a couple other parents took the forefront. Merchantville, Pennsauken Little League. Why not, right?
Yeah.
It's Merchantville, Pennsauken Water Commission.
Yeah.
So we got together and we went to the district of Little League and talked to the president and said, hey, look, this is what it is. Why are we fighting over all these kids? So now for a league of 100 and so, now today we're at 320.
Woo,
and
nice.
Then it's just all that hard work, and then somebody comes up to me and goes, why don't you try this?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That wasn't easy, but I didn't really know what I was getting myself into.
Right.
But anything I did from growing up to moving on, there was mentors that say, hey, why don't you try this?
What do you say to kids or people that have something that is out of the ordinary? Somebody comes up to them, maybe you should try this, right? And then they're looking at that person that they got 3 heads. You know, what's the encouragement there, like to go for something that you've never gone into before?
It's one of those things where are you going to be okay with not knowing? Are you going to be able to? For a little kid, it might be different. For a grown up, it might be. Are you going to be able to sleep that night, not knowing that you probably had an opportunity, but you didn't seize it? You know, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
The analogy of you fail a lot, right? But when it feels good, it's your wow moment, right? It's all those things where I tried out golf now, right? I stink. But 18 holes of being horrible, boom, 1 flies. It's a beautiful shot. That's what keeps bringing me back. You know, it's one of those things where you have to try it. You never know.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So for little kids, for the youth, the athletes, don't leave it up to the umps. Don't leave it to the refs. Go all out. And if it's brand new, try it. Why not?
Yeah.
It's not gonna do. It's not gonna harm you.
Right.
You know.
Right. Go ahead, Guy.
Yeah, I think that I'll add to that. I think faith over fear, putting your faith over your fear, right? Something that us adults really understand and really believing something that's not there. I think that's where faith talk can begin with our youth, right? We have gone through things and life experiences that we were able to approach things that we weren't sure of, and some you win, some you lose some.
Yeah.
But just putting a trust in what you can do, right? Your capability. That's the type of talks we need to have with our kids anyway, right? And not worry about the unfamiliar, right? And I think that what you guys are talking about as far as just building those relationships with them so that they trust you, right? And so that the advice that we give them and the things that we say to them become important, right? Become important, and they go beyond what that young man or young lady think they can possibly do, right?
Yeah.
And so trusting us and we telling them you can do it, that becomes this big, huge thing to them. You know what I mean? Unfamiliar or not.
Yeah, you guys do a great job with articulating. You know what I'm trying to say, but
no, I got you. Great. I got you, man. You know,
yes.
What I wanted to say was when you said like, don't leave it up to the umps, don't leave it up to the ref. I look at that from, that's not just for the youth, that's for anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
When
you leave it up to somebody else, you're throwing in the towel. When you leave it up to somebody else, you're saying, you know what, forget it. You go ahead, you decide. Right. When really you're the one that has the power. You're the one that has the ability to make the decision whether you want to press forward or not. And oftentimes, more times than not, people doubt themselves. They doubt their abilities because of either a personal life experience, and they hold on to this thing for so long that it becomes like a weed in the garden that's just too hard to get out, right? And it's like, yo, like, what if you sat here and said, you know what, I am gonna go for it. It was like me, right? 5 years ago, I couldn't imagine myself sitting here and doing a podcast, and let alone with the mayor of Pennsauken, right? I couldn't imagine myself, being the dancing dad or anything like that. I was focused on my son, defeating leukemia, which he's coming up on 5 years soon, right?
Awesome.
So somebody comes up to me and they say, Kenny, this is my wife. My wife was like this, right? She was like, this dance studio, we're not gonna be here long. I said, man, you tripping. Like, this is my dream. This is what I always wanted to do. She was like, we're not gonna be here long. She was like, you're called to do something more. You're called to speak. And I'm saying this. She was like, you're called to preach in such a way, and it may not be in a church, but you're called to be on stage and speak, right? This is a vision that she had. I'm sitting there looking at her like she got 3 heads on. I said, man, you tripping. This is what I'm doing. Because I'm naturally like an introverted type of person where I was naturally shy growing up. So me going out and speaking publicly in front of people, I could never see it. But that was the first confirmation. And then another confirmation, somebody else came to me and they said they had a dream about me speaking. And more people, the more I would coach my kids in dance, the more people and parents would sit there and say, you ever thought about being a speaker or something like that? And I would always sit there and say, no. Yeah. Sometimes in life, we're going to reject the thing that we're called to. And we reject the thing that we're called to because we get comfortable in the position that we are in because we've had success in it. And for some weird reason, we feel that's the only thing that we're good at.
Yeah, safety net.
Safety net. Where in reality, we are called to many other things. But the one thing that you are good at is to help catapult you to that next level. And then you're going to master that. And when you master that, it's going to catapult you to another level. And so on and so forth. So I believe that if we can build out the framework and foundation of, okay, I'm great at this thing, but I know that this is not my only stop, right? You have to have that mentality. At some point in time, this is going to come to an end and I'm going to be doing something else, right? But for whatever reason, people only want to do just that one thing. Right. But I think that that's how we really grow as a community. Right. Because think about it. Are you just going to stop at Little League? No, right? You got you got middle school ball, right? You got high school ball, you got college ball, you got pros, right? And then after pros, you got what? You probably become a coach. After that, you then what? You go to the Hall of Fame. After that, you then what? You become a consultant. So it never really stops. You keep going and you keep doing things that you never thought that you would do, because once you were playing in the game, now you're a consultant for the game.
Yeah.
And nobody ever thought that, you never even thought that you would be actually speaking, but now you're giving seminars on how you did the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It goes for all of us, man. I think that what you said that resonates to me is the fact that you're not going to be here long, right? So if we look at every aspect of what we do, I'll encourage you, Vinny, and say that you won't be here long, so what's next, right? Mayor, you'll be there. You'll do what you have to do. But as a visionary, which is what we all are, think of what's next. Think of how you're preparing yourself now for what's next, because you won't be here long, right? I totally believe and wholeheartedly understand the fact that community, and another thing that resonates to me is community. Building community builds quality of life, right? And so those types of things help you to understand you can't just stay in the now, right? You have to be where you're going. And so what's next?
Yeah.
I think that's a big question.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Vin, let me ask you this, right? Like, when you mention the dads and you mention, those guys coming out, like, I always fit in. The moms are always amazing at what they do, because they make the players look great, right?
Yeah.
They make sure they look nice and neat, and then us dads, we make sure that the field looks up to par and everything for them. I want to switch gears a little bit, because I think that what's also important is that when we talk about family, right, that support that you have, not only politically, but just being a friend, right? Just being a guy, right? Just being somebody. Yeah, you got a title, and you have your job to do, and you're volunteering your work. But I also feel that it's important to know, somebody's got my back.
Yeah.
Somebody's got my back listen, there's been times where, me, Guy, Matt, we've had each other's backs, like, on personal levels. And I'm not saying that you're a marriage counselor or anything like that, right? But what I'm saying is that, people follow somebody that they know who's going to have their back in the end, right? If there's something that is going on in the town, going on in the community, and they need help on an enormous level. I give you an example, right? A couple of months ago, we had an incident where I was able to reach out to Vinny, because it involved Christian, right? And we all know that Christian has special needs. And as we wind down, Down Syndrome Awareness Month, I think that this is important to say that Vinny didn't hesitate to help me out. He told me exactly, what were the steps that I had to do in order to get certain policies kind of moved around for the benefit of my son who has a special need. And it's not just the benefit of Christian, but it's also the benefit of other children that have special needs, because there's another person that has special needs on my same block. So literally right across the street from me. So if it affects me, then it affects the person that's across the street as well too, right? And being that I was able to pick up the phone and say, hey, Vin, this is the situation. This is what happened. What can we do to help better protect the children that's on this street? Because I don't want anything bad to happen to them, right? And for Christian, like, hey, sometimes it's like, yo, he's a lover, he's a runner, right? he's a fighter. He's all those things encompassed. And as from a parent, like, let me tell y'all, it is one of the toughest things for, someone like myself to raise a child with special needs, right? I'm 6 years in, and sometimes I still don't know what I'm doing, right? It's not the easiest thing, because guess what? I'm getting a different person every year. Like, it's not, it's not like I'm like my other children, like, okay, like we can navigate through that. But with Christian, it's different, because there's a communication barrier, right? He's not communicating the way that me and my 9-year-old would communicate, or my 14-year-old, my 19-year-old, or how we communicate. So I'm still, you talk about a learning curve, I'm on the biggest curve ever, right? But what I'm saying is that sometimes it's good for us to have those other outlets as men and as women as well too inside of our communities, because there are things that we go through inside of our home. It's like, where do we go to get the help that we need? Is there a community for the women? Is there a community just for the men, you know, to where we can, can we just come and kick it for a little bit? Because I'm like, I'm a little overwhelmed here. But because I'm doing my best to do what I do, but life is kicking my butt right now, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is something to think about, right? Like, because we all go through those things.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is, like, who has our backs?
Yeah.
While we're going through all this.
Yeah.
Family, right? Yeah. When I first started, learning curve. Mm-hmm. When I became mayor, my wife Ellie was there. I said, listen, I get obsessed with certain things, right? Sports background. So it's like, hey, for 365, whatever leap year you want to call it, this is what it is, you know? And because I know her, I knew she would have my back, and she's been there the entire time.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many things I have to do now that I didn't have to do when I was a committeeman. I'm not saying the work is less, but and then you throw a campaign on there too, and I'm still trying to maintain being coach, dad, parent, and all that.
Right.
Yeah. My wife.
Yeah.
That's how when people go, man, you're everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I am. Maybe I should add to that. I am because of my family. Oof. I am because of my wife. You know, and that'll probably change. People's like, oh, all right. But they think because I'm everywhere, I get the vibe. Sometimes it almost seems easy.
Yeah.
You know, people think it's
oh
easy.
My God, bro.
Yeah, I get that, and somebody had told me that at a barbershop. He's actually related to Jersey Wolcott.
Okay. Jersey Joe Wolcott.
Yeah. So he said that, you know, now I have opponents this year, and he mentioned, he was like, it's because you make it look easy. But man, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah. You know, and it wouldn't be possible if you didn't have a foundation, a family.
Yeah.
And yes, it is because of my wife. My parents are still around. Her mom's still around. There's a village, you know, and it's just awesome how we just keep coming back to this.
Yeah.
It's a family. It's your wife. It's your dad. The kids, grandpops, grandmoms. It's all that.
Yeah.
And I'm able to do what I do right now.
Yeah. I was talking to Josie earlier, right? We was having this conversation before I came here. It's part of the reason why I was late this morning, but but it was important. It was important because, you know, my house is my first ministry. And me and Josie were talking, and we were, because I'm like the primary breadwinner of the home, right? And I was telling her, I don't ever want you to think that just because I'm out, you know, and I'm working and I'm doing this speech or that speech or coaching this person or that person, that money is not your money too. Like, that's our money. You know, that only happens if you're able to help take care of the boys like you are.
Yeah.
You're homeschooling the boys, right? You got the baby, you're nursing mom, right? So you're taking everything, you know, ahead, like upstairs, while I'm handling everything, you know, working downstairs in the basement and doing my thing or whatever. Yeah, but that when that check comes in, you know what I'm saying? That's ours, because we both put in that work. Imagine if you weren't here, like, I would have to be in two places at once, trying to do that and this at the same time. It would never work.
No.
Right.
So the foundation that you talk about is vastly important, right? But here's the reality. Let's just keep it a buck. Not everybody has that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Not everybody has that. People want that, but not everybody has it. And that's why sometimes it may look like, oh, you make it look easy. No, it's not easy. Right. Because there are some tough things that we don't share, that we go through on the inside that people will never really know about, right? Because that's our covenant right there, you know? So the thing is that if we can understand as people and as a community that foundation is key to our success, then I think that every household will start to kind of change the tune. It's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
But what you can do is start taking it day by day. Go ahead, guy.
Yeah, I think support system and circle, right? And when we discuss support system and circle, what it says to me is, as we proceed through life, we have to be careful who we allow in our circle and our support system, right? Because those people that you guys are referring to, they speak life into you, right? And so I'm really big on speaking life into others and having them speak life into me. It encourages us to proceed in a manner that focuses on something bigger than ourselves, right? And so in all the work that we do, it's bigger than ourselves, but we need to make sure that we have that circle and that support system that encourages us, that we're able to encourage, that we're able to feed, and they're able to feed us, but just that is positive and optimistic and, shares our vision. You guys talk about your spouses. That's huge in marriage and in partnership, right? Sharing your vision. Yes, we're going to go through this.
Yep.
But this is what the fruits of our labor will lead to. And so they need to believe in that. And so that's not just spouses, but friends and people we have around us. And so I'm really, really big on that. And we need to make sure that we stay mindful of that as a community, because you just want to be able to build up your community in a positive manner. And that's what you're working to do.
For sure.
Yeah.
I want to give you opportunity and everything, because we getting close on time and stuff like that. But what was some of the final things that you would love to share with the folks and everything out here in Pennsauken?
So just to come back a little bit.
Yep.
For the men, if you have a goal, and you have this vision, it's very important to be transparent with your spouse.
That's good.
If you're just tunnel vision, you're gonna leave some people behind, and you got to make sure that you just communicate. I'm not saying that I communicate all the time. I know a lot of men don't, but at least throw some lifelines out there.
Yep.
And let them know, what direction you're going, and then they can see it in a different lens.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't think that's right, or hey, you might want to go this way. Well, you're with this person for a reason, right? Because she see things that you can't see.
Right.
I could be somewhere speaking to individuals, and my support's right behind me.
Yep.
Right.
Scanning.
Right. You said be coachable. You said as an athlete, be coachable,
Yes,
right? As a
coachable.
husband, as a partner, we
Yes.
have to be coachable as well.
Yeah.
Take that positive and that criticism, and hopefully, it helps to give us more insight, a different way of thinking.
Yeah, and that's bad. Just don't pump your chest, right?
Yeah.
Take it in.
Yep.
Take it in. But I kind of got off of topic there, so
that's all good.
Come back.
Yep. Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, pretty much where we're at, it all comes down to community and leadership.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Community and leadership. And I feel that it's like this, man. As men and women, we have to understand the type of leader that we are. Right? And the people that we're leading are this generation of teens and young adults and children and toddlers. We have to learn how to be good shepherds, right? And what is a good shepherd, right? A good shepherd is someone that is not necessarily afraid to use the rod to bruise the sheep on purpose just so that they keep in line. Why? Because sheep don't have good vision. And because they don't have good vision, right, they can tend to walk away and leave the flock when we're supposed to stay collectively together. The staff that we have, right, as a shepherd is a 6 to 8 foot staff, and it's got a hook on the staff for a reason. Why? So that we can, in case you get too far, I can get this staff out long enough to reel you right back in, right? But we can't be afraid, and I'm not saying bruise as in abuse. I'm saying bruise as in like, hey, get back in line, because if you go too far, you're gonna get eaten up by the wolves.
To get your attention.
And they're gonna and those are the things that are out there, right? You got the devices. You got, you know, the other people that are wolves in sheep's clothing, right? People that are in disguise, that are willing to, you know, veer you away from the actual flock and where you're supposed to be. But that comes from, but how we you know, eradicate that is by, number one, keeping the flock together, right? And if one leaves, being willing to sacrifice, you know, the 99 to go get the one to bring them back into the fold, right? And we got to have a shepherd's mentality, I believe. And I think that when we have a shepherd's mentality, our community will continue to go ahead and get better and better. I'll leave you with the last word.
Yeah, I mean, that's beautiful what you said. I think if we can take that, what you just said, because it just was in my mind that even children would understand that,
right?
You know, but how? Then the thought real quick was like, how do we get that to the parents to let the kids know that? When I started doing this, I asked you what you were reading.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
These are the things. What are people doing? And I started researching and started looking up things, and I started reading different things to stay coachable. The parents out there, please, if you, this is big. If you can, you should. If you can, you should. If you have a little bit of time, that time is big for any type of organization. Any type, even your family, your friends. If you can, you should. If you can't, totally understandable. Your family, your friends, your partners, they will understand that. But if you can, you should. And that's how I've been doing the service and going out there and coaching. Is if I can, I will.
Yeah.
If I can, I will. Like when you reach out to me, if I can, I will.
Yep.
And that's it. And work hard. Somebody's seeing you work hard.
Yeah.
For the kids out there that are athletes. Even if you're a parent, if you just, I don't like to say keep your head down, but if you keep your head down and work hard, somebody's going to notice that. Somebody's going to notice that hard work, and you will get recognized for your gifts.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Everybody wants to, you know, look at me. Just work.
Yeah.
Work ethic.
Just work, man. Just work. That's it right there. That's it. Just work. Listen, everyone, make sure you guys go out, hit the polls November 7th. My man Vince Martinez, he's on the ballot. Make sure y'all go ahead and click that. I need my man Coach Vinny, Big Vinny in there, okay? Yes. The committeeman is here, and he is doing a lot of great things moving forward. And I will leave you guys with this, okay? Remember, I always say when we change the mind, we change the game, right? But I believe this to be true as well, too. It's time for us to get a little uncomfortable, right? We got to be uncomfortable to be unshakable, okay? And how we do that, right, are doing things that we wouldn't normally do, okay? Stepping outside of the box to go forward and see what else is out there so that we can get to that next level. You want change to be better? Well, change doesn't necessarily start in the box. Change starts outside of the box. And outside of that box is inside your home. If that makes any sense, if you follow what I'm saying, okay? So you want change? Change starts at home. It starts with that firm foundation, okay? And then we can go to that next level and everything from there. All right, with that being said, y'all, listen, if you want more tips, more tools, we do have the Unshakeable program that is now up on the website for any company out there that is looking for a coach, someone that needs to help them personally and professionally on another level. I'm your guy. All right, come on now. Come on with it. Go to my website, www.kennethallen.thomas.com. Vince, where can they find you at? Can they find you on social media anywhere?
Yes, you can find me on social media. Also, Facebook is where I have a new page, Mayor Martinez. You can find me there. You can find a lot of community events in there. And just, follow me there. And I have a website coming soon.
All right, website coming soon. Make sure y'all go ahead and follow Mayor Martinez on Facebook. With that being said, everybody, listen. If you love what you heard, if you want to donate to the podcast or anything like that, if you feel will to do it, go ahead and do it. There's a link on the description below. And also, if you click on the channel, there's a link right there to our Patreon as well, too. For myself, Matt in the back, Guy Still, Vince Martinez. We will see y'all next week. And we're going to have an amazing episode next week. So you guys make sure that y'all subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. When we change the mind, we changed the game. Yesterday is going tomorrow. Worry about itself. And today's all you got. And if today's all you got, you make sure you go ahead and impact today the best way you know how. One love. I'll see y'all later. Kenneth Allen Thomas, Unshakeable Conversations. Peace.